been a long and arduous wait for fans of the Tekken series, as Bandai Namco seemed all but set to miss out on the revival of the fighting genre of the last few years. Since the last numbered Tekken game, yes, there's been Tekken Tag Tournament 2, but there's also been 2 Mortal Kombat games, the Injustice series, a new lineage of Street Fighter, and even a few plucky little upstarts as well. We got to go hands-on with Tekken 7 and explore a few different areas of the game, in particular the story mode, and I'm swept up in just how balmy it is. There's characters returning from the dead, there's corporations that are battling across the world, but then they are just wrested from control from one person using hand-to-hand combat with another. The UN apparently has an active military presence, and it gleefully flashes back to events of previous games as well. You've got to respect any game whose story has characters repeatedly turning up to a gunfight with nothing but their fists and just shouting at them, "You think that's enough to stop me?" Let alone a story that's prepared to make you press buttons to literally throw a child off a cliff. Of course, the story is also really just an introduction to the game's fighting, and it takes its sweet time to dole out each little morsel of combat and the different controls. Between the meaty cutscenes that re-establish the world and the characters, you're alternately battling through waves of dumb grunts using basic combos and fighting against other named characters as you gradually learn the ropes. For fighting game experts, this introduction might drag on for a bit too long, but there's plenty more to look forward to, and there's also extra side stories featuring other characters from the Tekken universe. Beyond the story mode, this is a game that also embraces the ability to customize your characters, whether it's returning fan favorites like Heihachi Mishima or a cutesy newcomer like Lucky Chloe in her ridiculous cat outfit. You can dive in and buy them new outfits, new costume items, and give them all manner of ridiculous new looks. The gateway to all of this is the treasure battle mode, which lives alongside a more traditional arcade mode. As you'd expect, difficulty in treasure battle rises incrementally, with characters that you face potentially donning customized garments themselves. Winning fights will not only earn you cash to spend on other cosmetics, but also potentially unlock new ones from fallen fighters. And then there's also special rounds to look forward to that mix things up, such as the ultra-fast turbo mode. Now, I'll obviously admit that I'm something of a button masher when it comes to fighting games, and I don't really play them all that often. I might know the overall button presses for 1 or 2 combos, but actually pulling them off with any kind of consistency, well, that's another matter entirely. And you can obviously forget frame counting or any real strategic thought behind what I'm doing. But with that admission out of the way, I can very much appreciate what Bandai Namco have done when bringing Akuma across from the Street Fighter series for a cameo appearance on this roster. Where Tekken's combos are based around the notion of having the 4 face buttons controlling a character's 4 individual limbs, Street Fighter's moves are all about sweeping motions across the D-pad or the fight stick. As Akuma makes the leap into Tekken, he still plays very much like a Street Fighter character, right down to the buttons needed to pull off a trademark Hadouken, and also having a special attack meter in addition to Rage. For fans of both series, there's perhaps a few hints here at how the on-hold Tekken Cross Street Fighter project might have panned out if it hadn't run into development difficulties. As I said, Akuma also has the rage system to fall back on that other characters share as well. As your character's health drops below a certain threshold, we think it's around about 25%, the character starts to glow red and the health bar changes colour to signify that you've got rage. Triggering rage arts is as simple as tapping the right shoulder button when you're close enough to the opponent, letting you launch a cinematic flurry of blows on your enemy that can potentially wipe them out. Honestly, I'm not sure how I feel about Rage, which I think could be a divisive point for Tekken 7. Many fighting games have had sensational super attacks and ultras, but for me, Rage feels just a little bit too prevalent here, and I feel that 25% is just too high for it to trigger. On the one hand, it is capable of bringing a fighter on the ropes back into contention, and Rage arts deal more damage the lower that your health is. But on the other hand, it means that getting that one hit in at the right moment can actually remove nearly 40% of your enemy's health bar, and that is just so strong and means that even if you've got the upper hand in a fight, you have to be very wary of a rapid turnaround that could actually just end the round full stop. I'm definitely very interested to see how the community react to that, but on the whole, I actually really quite like Tekken 7. Like, the rage actually just makes it much more accessible. It felt that I could just, yes, button mash, but get into the flow of how the fight was going and enjoy myself. That's all for this video, but you can check out our accompanying written preview over on the 6thAxis.com. We've also got some pure gameplay footage for you to enjoy, featuring Kazumi, Akuma, and Lucky Chloe. It might not be the best of fighting, but again, it's just going to give you an idea of how those characters fight in Tekken 7. Obviously, likes, subscribes, and sharing this video will help us out a great deal, and so I hope that you will do that. And of course, I would love you to come back, so hopefully we'll see you again soon. Goodbye!
KO.